Obviously, this is a heroin bottle. This was sold in the United States. This is actually a Bayer heroin bottle. Bayer is in the aspirin brand now. Moving on to our right is a shirt with the main component being glycerin. Glycerin is a main component in TNT. Glycerin is still in products that we use today, although this particular product is no longer sold because it really didn't do anything. Moving to the right is our chloroform shirt. It was supposed to relieve coughs, colds, sore throat. Obviously, drinking chloroform is not a very good idea, but at some period in time, it was considered a great remedy. We'll skip the black heroin shirts. It really is no different. This is probably one of the most controversial of the shirts. It is a tapeworm shirt for heavier women. Back in the 1900s, a lot of heavier women decided that it would be a good idea to ingest tapeworm in order to lose weight. You could imagine what the side effects were. Obviously, they no longer sell tapeworm.
One of the things that I keep consistently telling people about why I love this shirt is because you think about how people were taking these products, about 100 years ago, from approximately 1860 to 1920, because they were ignorant as to their side effects, or I should say the alternate effects as opposed to the positive effects that they were touting. But when I was with my ex-girlfriend a while ago, she used to watch Dr. Oz. I watched it with her. He did a whole thing on parasites, that being tapeworm, ringworm, stuff of that nature. He pulled out a tapeworm, which was approximately 10 feet long. It's about an inch, inch and a half thick. The entire audience, which is 99.9% females, was all completely grossed out. They're like, oh my God, they're on the verge of throwing up. 15 minutes later in, as he was explaining that it used to be thought that they cause weight loss, and they really don't, he polled his audience, which probably consisted of about 400 women, as to if it did help to lose weight by ingesting it, would you ingest the tapeworm? The entire audience raised their hand. And this is after being almost in convulsions over the fact of just looking at one. They were more than willing to eat it, considering they thought it might make them lose weight. And that's today. So these ideas of I'm going to take this stuff because I think it has one positive effect, whether or not I know about the negative effects, or even if I do know about the negative effects, still occurs today. So I found that really interesting, especially with this.
These are this is our cigarette shirt. Cigarettes were thought to have cured lots of things, including asthma, coughing, bronchitis, flu. Obviously, we know now the dangers of the tobacco industry, but back in the 1900s, they thought it was a cure-all.
I have a story about that. Jeremy gave me a little napkin, and it's like, it should be American Apothecary and a magnifying glass. And then it's like, now go home and come up with the logo. And that's basically how we got the logo moving. And then for the boxes, I created the separate crest to portray more of an apothecary feel to that, more like vintage looking.
With our single logo, though, we stuck with that.
Yeah,
Anastasia certainly did an amazing job in designing it, but we liked it with the magnifying glass one. It's another element that can kind of portray an apothecary, an old feel, but also with our tagline being "Take a closer look," that's what magnifying glass tends to help you do.
A pretty cool detail on the shirts, on the back of the tag.
Well, apothecaries were what drugstores are today. Like if you walked around Manhattan 100 years ago, you would see signs for apothecaries. That was the type of place where you would go in and find these type of medicines. So American Apothecary was logical because we really wanted to be a U.S. brand, and we wanted to really showcase the things that were around in American history, American propaganda, so to speak.
Yeah, it's supposed to be America's pharmaceutical history, and rather than saying something like that, by calling it an apothecary, obviously that's the old world term for a drugstore. That's how we're portraying the fact that we're trying to relay America's pharmaceutical history. It's America's apothecary.